How's it going tonight, guys? Or, well, today, whenever you're watching this, it's nighttime here, like 2 in the morning. But I wanted to do this review. I've been waiting to do this. My freaking camera has been all whacked, and finally I got it all working. The audio sounds decent enough that I can do a figure review. And the reason I really want to do this review is, ooh, I want to adjust the lighting here, because Joker's face is so white. Maybe if I kind of move it away there. But the reason I want to do this review is because the new McFarlane line is out, and I think it's kind of something that I wanted was to see a comparison of these two lines. You know, which one is more like the Marvel Legends of DC universe stuff. So, ooh, it's tough to say. I don't know, man. I like both lines, but before I talk about that at the end or compare them, we need to take a look at the packaging and these figures. So let's take a look. So they both come with like about the same packaging. Here you can see the window of the package and the figures behind it. Some of the you see the Knightfall Batman, Knightfall Catwoman, Sinestro, and Green Lantern. This packaging is pretty nice. On the top, I'll move my camera. You can see Knightfall Batman. Goes use the Knightfall Batman. Get this thing in focus. There's a nice little DC emblem here, silver emblem, which is on the Joker's packaging as well. DC Collectibles, DC direct from the source, pretty cool. Figure number 21, I believe. Nothing fancy on the side there. Getting this nice little bio, sort of. It's just about the DC line, it looks like. DC Essentials is a line of 7-inch action figures based on DC characters with universal appeal, accessible to both longtime collectors and those just starting out, which delivers authentic detail from a company with 2 decades of experience creating high-quality action figures. For the first time in the DC Essentials line, Batman is back in his his classic 90s costume featuring a blue and gray color scheme, longer bat ears, and a capsule belt based on the iconic Knightfall storyline. Okay, cool. Here on the bottom you can see more figures, same ones that were on the back of the box. If you noticed, I actually said the F word. That was my attempt at being funny. So, yeah, there you go. DC Collectibles, blah blah blah. You can see all the different stuff here. Sculpted by Paul Harding, who does a fantastic job, I gotta say. And then a nice picture of the Batman, number 21. And now let's take a look at Joker's, which is literally like the same thing except some different figures in the background. It's more of a greenish hue too. Get this thing to focus here for y'all. It has a greenish hue to it. Looks pretty cool. You can see the Joker, Batgirl looks like, Nightwing, and Harley Quinn. So, oh man, those figures all look pretty nice. Same thing with the DC logo there. Let me get this to focus for y'all. There you go. This figure's number 11 in the series. And I already read that top part. It says, for a guy who calls himself the Clown, the Joker certainly has more style than your typical carnival jester. At least in this figure. The 7-inch tall version of Batman's deadliest foe is far more dapper than other iterations of his character, but his menace and capacity for chaos remain. With over 20 points of articulation, this Joker figure can impose madness wherever you put him. We'll see about that. So, you got Batgirl on the bottom, Nightwing, and Harley Quinn, and this is also... Okay, these are all sculpted by Paul Harding, except for Batgirl and the Joker. The Joker is sculpted by Steve Kiwas? I don't want to say that wrong. I'm sorry if I am. And Sam Greenwell is sculpted Batgirl. So, anyways, let's take a look at these figures now. So let's start with the Joker here, who is actually pretty nice. I'd say my favorite part about this guy is his head sculpt. I can get to focus here. The light is so bright it kind of makes it hard to see the details that are all on his face. We can see, it looks to me like his teeth are kind of sculpted, but not like very strongly defined. So it kind of just looks like a flat mouth for the most part. And his face is incredibly triangular. You can definitely tell it's like a top of a triangle right here. But for the most part, it looks like the Joker. It has that long chin, that long creepy nose, that nice green color, and like a black wash in the cracks there. If I can get this to focus. But for the most part, yeah, he has a beautiful face sculpt. Probably my favorite part about this figure. My other part about this figure that I'm really happy with is this little cane. Pretty cool. Now, small complaint, this guy doesn't come with any accessories really, except for this cane. And for the accessory he does come with, this thing is pretty freaking sweet, as you can see. It looks as nice as hell, man. That's a very nice piece. You can see this Joker face, the green hair on the top, the handle. and purple and gold throughout. Very consistent coloring. Fits in his hand terribly though, so that sucks. I'll show you, it just kind of slides in there. If you like get it right between, get this little handle here right between his thumb and his pointer finger, it fits fine. But otherwise it just kind of sucks, dude. And another thing that I wanted to try, and I actually didn't, surprisingly, before I did this, I should have, is can you like put it under his, no, you can't really do that. That kind of sucks. I wanted him to hold the actual handle and just kind of rest his hand on it. Basically, we had an interchangeable hand on this thing, but whatever, man. This is kind of, these figures are lacking in accessories majorly, dude. Like, it's sad how lacking they are. No interchangeable hands with either of these figures. No interchangeable heads. Nothing except for that cane. I mean, what is Batman without a Batarang? Bro, like, I don't know. Or at least a Bruce Wayne head or something, dude. It would have been nice to have something like that. But, or not even is it freaking Jean Paul or, I almost said Jean Claude. Oh, God. It's late. I think it's Jean Paul in a Azrael head from Knightfall when he takes over for Batman because the Batman was broken by Bane. Pretty cool. But it would have been nice to have one of those heads so we could actually see the man under the mask or something. You know, especially the Jean Paul. That would have been awesome. But maybe they'll do that if they ever release an Israel Batman. That'd be dope. But anyways, the Joker in itself, the sculpting is nice. The paint is nice. You have a soft plastic on his jacket here. Hope this is focused enough for you guys. But it's like a soft plastic here and all throughout. So his articulation doesn't really ruin the jacket or anything. However, I don't really think anyone's going to be using this ab crunch because it's so goddamn tight. It's annoying to use. I don't like that. The main thing, I guess, that I'd be worried about with these figures, and I've watched other reviews and seen a lot of people talk about it, is the proportioning, I'd say. The Joker definitely seems like a nicely proportioned figure. I don't really see anything wrong with this guy, to be completely honest. His legs are maybe a little bit on the long side. Not really, though. I don't think so. I think this guy is nicely proportioned. Maybe his chest is a little too big for the Joker. I'm not sure what comic book art they were going after when making this guy. I do not know, because I don't remember seeing any iterations of the Joker with a jacket this freaking short. I don't really like the jacket, and I don't really like the vest. But if it's based off of some comic book art that I haven't seen, and this is how he's drawn, then maybe they captured it perfectly. I don't know, but I know I'm not like a huge fan of this look in general. But the face sculpt is fantastic, and that is really what makes the Joker the Joker. If you don't like get the Joker face sculpt, it's not a very, you know, it really makes or breaks the character. But it's all pretty straightforward. Nice paint, nice detailing in the flower there. No paint smudging as far as that. Oh, I take that back. Do you see that, boys and girls? There is a paint smudge right there. There you go. See that? Paint smudge right on the jacket. So that's a bummer. What is even more of a bummer is this camera's a bitch to get to focus. Anyways, so onto the articulation here. This guy is not, I mean, he's super articulated, but his joints are kind of weird. So he has an ab crunch that's pretty crazy. I mean, it works, but it's really stiff, man. Like, I'd be scared I was going to break it or something. And when you do bend him backwards, goddamn, that looks incredibly unnatural. What the hell, man? I don't like that. That looks pretty awful. But I'll give him this. They sculpted all the way up, even under that. So that's a nice touch. It'd be kind of crap if it was just flat plastic cut off right on and that was resting under this chest piece here. So that's probably one joint that's kind of nervous for me. I'm nervous about the head sculpt too. I'm nervous about. Whew, oh, I just had a little heart attack. I thought this freaking came off and actually snapped. Honestly, this is so stiff. I'm not gonna mess with this. Okay, I'm sorry. I know everyone wants to see, but like, not even gonna take a chance there. That joint sucks ass. I'm not fucking with that, dude. Nope. No, thank you. But I mean, there is like kind of a neck pivot too. His head can obviously rotate. It's on a ball joint that has a hinge, and the ball joint is obviously kind of has a thin piece here. So if you press too hard, I would not be surprised if that snaps. So I don't recommend screwing with that if you're having problems. Also, there's paint flaking all over inside. What the hell, man? That's kind of crusty, but whatever. anyways, he has some articulation in his arms. His arms can go up about that far, as you can see. Down, obviously, forward and back. There's a bicep swivel here, double jointed elbows. This joint is kind of weird too. It's like, kind of gets stuck easy. And this also looks kind of unnatural. That looks kind of funky. Like just flat, but whatever, you can only do so much, you know. It's a $20 action figure. There's a swivel here and a hinge at the hand. The hands all look pretty nice as well. But yeah, the joints here are off. This part of the joint almost doesn't want to work. And it's the same thing with the legs. If you can kind of see that. They're really like stiff or like some kind of soft plastic. I couldn't tell you what's going on there. But that joint is kind of whacked. Otherwise, yeah, I said the ab crunch, there is a twist here at his waist. He has some great leg articulation, goes forward, back. They go out incredibly far, so they did a great job there. There's a swivel at the thigh, double jointed knees, like I said. And honestly, now that I putzed that a little more, it's moving a little bit smoother. However, I feel like this wants to get kind of loose. So be cautious when you're doing that, I guess. Because I could see this guy getting loose. But he does have a little hinge here and an ankle pivot. And his feet can also turn like so. This guy is, honestly, the more I mess with him, he's a really fun figure. I definitely recommend him. He's probably my favorite Joker action figure there is in the 7-inch scale. And I don't think there's many. I don't know how he compares to the new McFarlane one or other DC collectibles. But as of now, I think he's very, very nice. I absolutely love him. Although he has some whack neck articulation, I still recommend him. So, with that being said, he does kind of stand awkward. He doesn't really want to stay standing because of his shoes in the bottom. You can see he just falls. So you have to putz with him for a little while, but he will stand eventually. So, with that said, let's take a look at the Batman. Okay, so here we have the Knightfall Batman. And if you don't know the Knightfall story, go read it, dude. It's absolutely amazing, so far anyways. I'm reading the volumes of it. I just finished the first volume, and I have not gotten to the second volume. I know Jean is freaking going crazy, whacking people. He just fucking wailed on Bane. Spoiler alert. Sorry, I said that too late. But, I mean, honestly, if you haven't read it by now, whatever. So, it's a cool story. Jean-Paul, isn't that his name? Is it Jean-Paul? Okay, give me a sec here. Okay, so I checked. His name is Jean-Paul Valley Jr. And he takes over for Batman in the Knightfall comic book series and is hardcore as fuck, dude. He messes some people up and Robin cries about it, and it's pretty crazy. However, Jean-Paul is not a very nice fellow, and Bruce Wayne's the best Batman. But it would have been nice to have a Jean-Paul head and a Batman head so we could, you know, go between the two and displays and shit. That would have been really cool. But they didn't do that for whatever reason. I know there's cost issues, but it would have been nice to have just at least one extra head sculpt. Anyways, the main problem with this guy is probably his really long-ass arms and his thin chest. Those are probably my two complaints. The chest is really thin, the arms are too long. Perhaps if you shorten the arms a little bit, it wouldn't make the chest look so skinny and bulging, I guess. I feel like this chest piece could be on a 6-inch figure, not a 7-inch. It could be a little bit wider, but with that being said, it's not terribly noticeable. If you don't pay much attention to it and you don't really listen to what I just said, you probably won't notice it. It's such a nice figure, man. I really like this guy. However, like I said with the Joker, the one thing about these guys is they're so lacking in accessories. It's awful because I pay $20 for Marvel Legends figure, get quite a few accessories most of the time. Most of the time. And this guy I'm paying 20 bucks for, sometimes more for shipping, almost, what, I paid like 25 bucks for this guy? I think a little more than that might be. And I got no accessories, just a plain ass figure. So, with that said, that sucks. But, you know, in terms of posability, how photogenic this guy is, it's a very nice figure. Anyways, let's take a look at him. The sculpt, like I said, is a little funky, but pretty nice for the most part. It's a very human-looking sculpt. Looks cool. However, people don't really have this long of arms. I don't think. They could be a little bit shorter. I'm not sure how I feel about the underwear piece here. There's really, I don't know why you'd even paint it on there. You didn't really need to do that. It looks just kind of awkward. I really like how McFarlane has the like a soft plastic piece right here. That would have been nice to see. The belt looks good. It's very comic accurate, obviously. The face sculpt is very nice. That came out very clean, if you can see here. Sorry, I'm just trying to focus my camera so you guys can see this. And I'm learning how to use it. There you go. That's a bit better. Okay, so the face sculpt is like super nice, as you can see there. A person could even add some like black shadowing here that look kind of cool. But you can see it's just very clean. I don't see any paint rubbing. I really like how the lips are done too. It looks just like the comic book. It looks like this guy came straight from the page. The gloves are also kind of nice. They added like almost like, it looks like an armor or something. They had those lines in there. That's a nice touch as well. Otherwise, this guy's pretty straightforward. The boots look nice. And everything looks pretty good. The articulation, well actually before we talk about that, I do want to talk about one thing. I have some paint smudging here, which is really ugly looking, if you can see that. And this cape is kind of doo-doo, man. I'm not really a fan of this cape. And you can see the little thing right there. It's kind of a bummer. But what can you do, you know? Anyways, let's take a look at his articulation. This guy, his head is a little bit easier to bend than the Joker's. Probably goes up about that far right there. Pretty damn far, but like I said, I'm still worried about breaking him. And really far down, however, you can see straight down his neck there. So that's kind of crappy. I don't like that. Nice squeak in there. He has a bit of a neck pivot. Not really, though. His head obviously rotates. His arms go out about that far. They are hindered by the cape a little bit. They go up about that far. I don't really want to stretch out the cape at all, ruin the plastic. Go back. There's a bicep swivel here. He has double jointed elbows. He has, I think he has a swivel here. Nope, no swivel at the wrist, or at the forearm, I guess. There's a swivel at the wrist and a hinge, and a nice ab crunch here, which is also very stiff, but still looks kind of whacked when it goes back, especially because this part isn't sculpted at all. Really, it's just kind of two lumps here. Doesn't really look natural, so that's a bummer. But the muscle definition is pretty nice for the most part. These abs aren't like terribly defined, so it looks pretty cool. Looks more natural. Is there a swivel here? Waist swivel? Yes, there is. Legs go forward really far, kind of back. Swivel at the thigh. There's double jointed legs. Is there a swivel at his calf? Yes, there is. He has like a ball joint here for the rotation in his feet. As you can see, go down, not far at all, up. A little bit of an ankle pivot, not really unless you rotate that ball joint and kind of do that. But that's just awkward as shit. I absolutely hate that. So I'm not really a fan of this ball joint piece here. It's kind of annoying because you have to really screw with it and it's awkward as hell. But aside from that, the guy's pretty straightforward, man. What you see is what you get for the most part. However, the ankles do get kind of loose, I'll say that. But yeah, they do get loose. There's really no getting around that. That sucks. It would have been nice to have some extra accessories, some extra hands, a Bruce Wayne head. Would have been nice to have an extra Joker head as well, or something, man. Or even a gun that says bang, dude. Like a crowbar. Oh my god, a crowbar. Joker with a crowbar would have been so nice. Just, it would have been nice to have some kind of accessory, at least one. But it's not like you can't go out and order one 12 scale figure accessories. But you're probably not going to be able to find hands for these guys unless you paint them and stuff, which is kind of a pain in the ass. So with that being said, do I recommend these figures? I mean, honestly, I feel like such a son of a bitch for saying this, but no. I don't really have a desire to buy anymore, to be completely honest. The only other figure I really want is probably Superman and Jason Todd, maybe Nightwing. But I'll say this, if you want a figure that looks better and has higher quality, I guess, relative to the McFarlane line, go out and buy these guys, but McFarlane's more accessible. With that said, why don't we talk about that? Okay, so I think it's pretty obvious both these figures have problems, and they're both the same scale, both pretty close to the same price. However, this guy has normal underwear, this one doesn't. This guy has way too small of a head. This guy's head is normal. This guy's abs are weird, but this guy's kind of are too because of his weird chest. This guy actually has a normal wide chest. This guy has better feet. That guy has weirder feet. But this guy actually has accessories. He actually has a decent cape, and he costs about the same price. He's easier to find. And I think the odds of McFarlane's line going on for a longer period of time and being more consistent are a lot better than the odds of DC's. Oh wow, look at that, a little hair floated, weird. I think it's a lot better than the odds of DC Collectibles line actually going on. I think they have a tendency to shut down lines right away, like the DC Icons line, man. That was actually a decent line. I collected that and they stopped producing them. And that's kind of a pain in the ass, dude. Because it wasn't a bad line. It was decent enough, you know? Where I'm worried the same thing's going to happen with this line. So, I don't know. But obviously, if you want the line to continue, buy the figures. If you like the figures, keep buying them. With that said, both figures are great. They both have pros and they both have their cons. I guess it's really a matter of preference. I don't know which one I like more, to be completely honest. I'm not huge on either of them, but I'll probably get more of the McFarlane ones just because they're easier to find. And they're a bit cheaper because I ain't going to have to pay for shipping. So, there's that said. But I definitely do recommend checking these guys out, the DC Essentials line. They're a lot of fun to mess with, especially this Joker. This Joker's pretty freaking cool, dude. I need to get Harley Quinn and stuff. They look good in displays. They're cool figures for the most part. So yeah, should you get them? I probably would. At least these two. I like these two. But, I don't know. I need to buy some more figures. I haven't really made my final verdict on whether I'm going to keep collecting these or not. I might get Nightwing and Red Hood and then I'll know. Or maybe not. I don't know. It's tough to say. I guess it depends on their accessories. I have to go and look. But for the most part, these guys are decent. I have mixed feelings about them. Really mixed feelings. But they're decent. The Joker is definitely better than the Batman. I'll say that much. In pretty much every way. So, with that said, thank you guys for watching this video. If you disagree with my opinions, you can comment. Just be respectful about it, please. Otherwise, thank you for watching. If you like this video, drop a like, subscribe, comment, let me know your thoughts on the figures and how you feel about the line and if you think they'll continue or if you prefer McFarlane over this. Otherwise, guys, stay home, stay safe, stay quarantined during all this craziness, and I hope you check in and tune into more of my videos. Thanks for watching, and keep collecting.